Okay, so I'm going to take the lead on this. Yasmin brought it up, and I'm going to take the lead.
Something that we saw in the news today.
Channel 7 was a fashion tech startup, and I'm
Yes.
going to take the lead on it because, A, I'm not directly involved as Lawrence is in this, but I've been following this and I understand it intricately as he does since about 2003. And one of the challenges I've been saying to people is that you've got to understand the new model of business. Find a problem, solve it, and exit. The challenges and what upsets me about many of these tech startups, they don't identify the hose is leaking.
Right.
They just wrap a piece of rubber around the hose.
One of the holes.
But not even one
Or
of the holes.
few.
They just wrap the piece of leather where they want to wrap it.
Right.
And then say, we solved the problem.
Right.
They get a huge sum of money, they exit, and then they leave the entire ecosystem devastated.
Absolutely.
Where the problem isn't solved, investors have no trust, consumers have no trust.
Right.
And this is
And it makes it
BookaTailor.
difficult.
And I'm going to name them because BookaTailor is positioning itself as a solution in the custom bespokeino, because they're not using bespoke.
But that's their label, Bisconino. That's the label they're using. But they are saying that they're custom, tailor-made, bespoke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they're solving the problem of a custom tailor suit. And here's the challenge of that. This is a 25-year-old person who said that. I'm looking at a
Started
suit.
the company 2.5
Right,
years ago.
I'm
so
looking
he
at
was
him in the suit,
22.
and I will almost take bet this man has never worn a custom tailored 4,000, a custom tailored suit. So let me, for the masses, explain. Suits that are manufactured in a factory, as this one is done in Taiwan, are not custom.
Thailand.
They are manufactured, man-produced, even mass-produced. Even if you can customize certain details and general measurements, the art and the process of tailoring is about fitting it to your body.
And the one tailor measures you, cuts it, and sews it. Because he's the one that met your body, measured your body, and knows your body.
Once you have that
He
pattern,
develops that relationship.
well, not
Yes.
only that, once it's like you're going to a doctor, and you know, in these clinics,
Right.
and you see one doctor, and the next
Right.
week you see another.
Right.
They never really get it right,
Right.
because
Right.
each one is it has a
Which is the reason why you're constantly coming back.
yeah, because so it's the problem isn't being solved. There are about 4 or 5 of them. And I am looking at the suits and the ads, I am looking at a process. This particular company is using a small little vehicle, and they're measuring. Now, they take the orders and they measure. There's such a,
Right on the street.
right on the street, and he may go into the home or the office.
Right.
It takes years of training to effectively guide someone through the correct fabrication, measurement for them. Let's get over that and say they do have the measurement. You send it off to
Thailand.
Thailand. It
To a
comes
factory.
to a factory. It comes back, and it's delivered. Now, my experience is in the custom department. I'm a custom designer,
Absolutely.
dressmaker. I
Absolutely.
fit and tailor.
Absolutely.
On the Upper East Side, I ran a dress store. These people would buy their suits at Bloomingdale's and Saks, come to me and have it custom tailored. These were high-end suits.
Absolutely. They
Had
were
them-
high end to begin with.
They were high-end to begin with,
And they're fine-tuned to the body to fit properly.
but they still came in because that last bit of
Absolutely.
tailoring.
That final touch.
To make it
And
to
my
make it
thing-
theirs.
When a man puts on a suit that I've custom tailored, or that he custom tailored, or that he has custom made, bespoke, it's tight, it's close, but it's
Yes.
not uncomfortable.
No, it's
It
almost like a
fits.
second skin.
It is a
but,
second
but
skin.
not, like you said, not tight, not vulgar. but-
Right.
Yeah.
This person says, I came into at 25, saw a problem and fixed it.
Absolutely.
Now,
And they don't boast a fashion or
or have never gone
In the
in
industry,
to really
yeah.
find the problem, the
Yeah.
holes, etc.
Never even mentioned, well, my father and I used to go to Brioni for fittings.
Oh, I
or-
spent 2 years within the industry learning what the challenges are. So they're literally wrapping a rubber hose. And I'm also from a tech background. I've been in the hacking, been in the things, and still I realize that you don't I won, my team and I won at the Guild Fashion Hack. And when we were at getting our announcement for winning one of the best use of APIs, in my mind, I said, this can work, but we still haven't solved the problem. We still haven't solved the problem of the supply chain, which is essentially the problem in all of fashion. But not only that, because people say, I can make an app that will fit. And we have a
special measuring tool.
Special measuring tool. Weather photogrammetry, which is using images to measure. That measurement, if you're measuring someone and really measuring someone, even if I'm measuring you in person, I usually know how to get you to relax and breathe so that I can see the way your body moves. And in my notes, a little notes on that for my tailoring aspect of it. See, until you've done that, you don't know what the problem is.
Right.
And until you've fitted somebody that slouches forward.
Or has a rounded back.
Or doesn't stand straight due to an athletic injury.
Now, don't get me wrong.
The measurements are the body's wonky.
Don't get me wrong. If they took measurements and send it, they can adjust slightly. But if you're dealing with a hipster, young white guy, 20 and a 25, it even differs between an Italian, a Russian,
a French,
and a French guy,
absolutely,
and an American,
an Asian,
from New York
an
and
Asian,
from Oklahoma.
absolutely.
Them farm boys got some ties.
That's right.
Okay.
An Asian, the Asian community,
same thing.
It matters and it differs. Now you take that even within the black community, the African cut.
Absolutely.
Now what is happening?
Very different.
Take that in the black community. The Africans are sending a lot of blacks are sending the clothing to be made in Africa. Then they're surprised it's not being made. Well, even an African who's left Africa and come to New York because their diet has changed, their body has changed.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, even the Africans and the people of West Indian descent in England
have changed.
They're very different.
It's different.
They have a European body. They're thinner.
3 family members. Each one goes to a
Thinner.
different place.
They're
It's a
thinner.
different.
They're
Because
thinner.
of diet and so forth.
They're thinner.
Now, here we have, and someone touched on it with the issue of Grub on the food sector, and that's what Grubhub, about not being truthful and not really assessing companies correctly.
I had no idea a company could do that.
Well, here's the thing. We
Ethics.
don't think what these people are doing essentially isn't solving a problem. They're redirecting the supply chain. That's 2 different things. Whereas we'd go into Daffy's, which is gone, we'd go into those mid-level stores and buy a suit and then wear it.
The Century 21.
The men's warehouse. He is literally a new men's warehouse, a mobile men's warehouse.
A mobile.
If you know a man in a suit, you can tell when he's wearing a men's warehouse or he's wearing
a real bespoke outfit.
Who gets measured on the street? That just shocks me.
I really think that was just
that shocked me.
I
think that and I think if I'm looking at that, I can see how it could sort of play in New York, but apparently he has more than one location, and that's outside of New York
Atlanta,
City.
Beverly Hills.
And I can't imagine that
Really?
that working
Well, I
elsewhere.
don't. Okay, so
the
let's
hustle and the bustle, Wall Street. Okay, I don't have time.
Let's put it honestly. Shopping needs to be a relaxed and
Especially for a
Pleasant.
suit.
and the reason you go mobile is so that the customer is comfortable.
Right.
So I think when they meant shopping in the street, he didn't want. Yes, he had to get around some legalities. You really can't manufacture in the home in New York City. So he couldn't really say that. Okay?
I see.
He is lit, and he didn't want to seem to be one of those who is going to the office and taking measurements. That's essentially
But on the street in Bryant Park,
Well, that was
I'm
just
just
for
shocked.
press.
But that's what he was.
That
He-
was just for press.
One of the other places was Wall Street, and I think
Yeah,
it plays
right.
into the hustle and bustle.
Well, I
People
think
don't
that's
have
basically
time.
marketing.
Let's get this done now.
But those men don't buy off the street. They go twice a year and order 4 suits.
But this is when you and I know the sector and the industry.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He is not targeting the men who would shop that way. He's targeting the guys I know in tech who have money and are given money and
Right.
wear T-shirts.
Right.
Yeah.
They
to them
have-
And think this
to
is
them
really
it's
cool.
getting
Yeah.
measured in
And
the
think
street.
this is really cool.
You know, they work out of garages, out of loft, and I really don't think street as a street, but their lofts, their offices.
What I immediately saw, which is what I intimated to you, is that I saw the business model right away. And being in banking, I mean, I took a step back, and what I realized is what he's doing with the cars, he's creating some sort of a franchise. Because first I said that maybe the other people who are doing it are being paid on commission, because I doubt he's paying any of these workers, you know. So what I think is he's probably selling it more as a franchise. And I think if you add that franchise and the app, that is something I could see some sort of venture capitalist
Well,
throwing money at. I'm not saying it's a good business.
No, it's
I'm
a
just
good
saying
business.
that
Now, there's a difference. Here's the thing. A good business model does not necessarily mean a good solution.
Okay.
He has a good business model, which is what I've been saying to people. You've got to think about your revenue model. He has 3, from what I see.
he really does. Because I'm sure he's got some sort of arrangement with that smart car, because it's not
See,
a
you and
very
I are thinking-
attractive
And
car.
the factory
right?
in Thailand.
But
But-
just look at the car
but-
situation.
Yeah, but
they
the-
can't get people to buy these cars. So what they're doing is saying they took a different route. They said, okay, why don't
He
we use them
saw
for businesses?
An area
but-
to make
And he
an
doesn't buy
impact.
those cars. He
Ladies-
leases those cars.
Yeah,
and he
but-
doesn't have to lease them. Whoever buys into that franchise will do the leasing and
Yeah,
pay for that cost.
But the thing I think we're missing is the pictures of the product. The product didn't fit properly.
Right.
Well, okay, so let me explain to you how a lot of these people do.
But it's a patched up, it's a put together
But-
business,
but-
which is
but-
what I'm saying.
But here's what it is.
It isn't
It's
somebody
not-
who loves fashion.
It's
who did
not a
this.
put.
Yeah.
It's not a put together
No.
business. It's a lean startup model. So here's one of the things. When I say to you guys, there's a 3-day startup and a 7-day startup. When these people put up their things and you're seeing it, many people say, "Oh, that's what it is." No, they should be able to say, "This is my suit." It's a loophole. A lot of them go to stock imagery and do it. All
And
the
these
images,
look like stock photos.
all the images we use, I use,
Or us. Me,
are
mine, or
us,
mine.
are our products.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, but that's because we have product.
Right, right.
Okay,
and
and
you
that's-
have that background, too.
That's why I say to people, I need pictures of you working on the product. So we see, now he shot a picture of the factory.
Right.
And for those who are, you're in front of an investor, the investor doesn't care.
No.
He is looking at the bottom line.
He's looking at that business model.
And
I'm
here's
sorry.
where his
Yeah, no,
business
and the
model
return.
is.
Right.
He has the car, which is an advertising tool.
Absolutely.
Okay?
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's even paying for that car. I think the car company is
Yeah.
paying him. And the more cars he can dispatch.
The more
See,
he
and
makes.
this is what I'm trying to, I want you to see the way we think about it. That's B2B.
Yeah.
See, the B2C is the selling the suits and the what have you. That's not where you're making the money. The
he's
money
getting-
is being made at the B2B. Now that I think about it, as you're talking, the car company is paying him.
No,
to
the car
dis-
company isn't paying him. He's worked the price. He's worked a deal with him,
Right.
so that every person who franchises, he has a bottom line, which is
Right.
I say you've
But
got
what
to
I'm
work
trying
that.
to say is, with the
He
car
doesn't have
company,
out-of-pocket
when they
expenses.
when they brought these cars out into the market a few years ago, they weren't popular because of the way they look. They're not safe. This, that, and the other. However, they can replace that bike, that bicycle that rides through the city. Their car, what do you call it? Their energy efficient, right? Models, what have you. So the car company can say, look, if you can get X amount of cars out there, you know,
Well, he
we
gets a
can-
cut. He gets a
we'll
kickback.
give you
Yeah,
some sort of a profit, you know, like a salesperson.
Well-
And so that plays into his model. So now he can then turn around and sell that as a franchise, as part of the franchise.
That's what we call
To-
pre-sale, pre-tail. Remember, I keep telling the designers, the cooks, etc. Once you price your product and you get a fixed wholesale cost. You then know what your markup is, and you've arranged with the supplier who understands that every time you sell, he sells, that you don't have to pay up front. So you can sell, and as you sell, you retrieve.
Right.
Okay? On the second note, he then also is starting a little kiosk.
Absolutely.
That kiosk is where people will come. It has a presence. It's a distribution strategy.
You don't have to have a full store.
You don't have a full store. The challenge is it's still closed. And unless that kiosk has a changing area, it makes no sense.
It might.
It's right.
Well, they didn't show one.
No,
They didn't
but-
show
but-
one.
But, you know, as they grow, it might.
It might. There is also
These
some things.
malls certainly have the room.
But
You
here's
know
the
what?
thing.
Let's look at it and come back. Let's take a break.
Right,
Let's
and
look
we'll
at
come
this-
back.
Yeah.
Thank you.